Hello. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to animate audio, animate with audio, that is. And this is the project I had created, and I'm going to use as my demonstration tutorial. So let me play it so you'll see what we're going to make, or I'm going to make, that is.
There was once a house that was overrun with mice. A cat heard of this and said to herself, "That's the place for me." And off she went and took up her quarters in the house and caught the mice one by one and ate them. At last, the mice could stand it no longer, and they determined to take to their holes and stay there. "That's awkward," said the cat to herself. "The only thing to do is to coax them out by a trick." So she considered a while, and then climbed up the wall and let herself hang down by her hind legs from a peg, and pretended to be dead. By and by a mouse peeped out and saw the cat hanging there. "Aha!" it cried. "You are very clever, madam, no doubt, but you may turn yourself into a bag of meal hanging there if you like, yet you won't catch us coming anywhere near you. If you are wise, you won't be deceived by the innocent airs of those whom you have once found to be dangerous."
Okay, I'm hoping that
There
this.
was once a house.
Whoops, sorry about that. I'm hoping that all this sounds correctly in this tutorial recording because my system is not really set up too well, and I was trying to record with my new headphones, but then it was not playing what I was playing on the in After Effects. So it wasn't, so you couldn't hear any sound and how I was syncing everything. So please bear with me as I continue on. So what we're going to do in this project is we're going to work with audio, and before I get started or show you what you're going to need to do, I just want to show you something. So this is our timeline, and this right here shows you all the different text that I've animated. This is the audio, and I'm going to show you this is the wave form. So this will show you when we play things, this is where she is talking, the narrator is talking in the audio. So this helps you to see in these little places where the waveform goes down, she's silent. So this is going to help tremendously in figuring out where to put our text and at what time it should be animated, okay? So the other thing I wanted to show you was this. I actually kind of have almost like two comps in one, in that all the shapes that I was animating are here, okay? And it makes it a lot easier to do it this way because I don't have it all in one, in the timeline, and it won't get too confusing. What really helps is the timeline indicator. When I move it, if I go back over to where the shapes are being animated, the timeline indicator is the same. So that's how we sync everything together, okay? So let me get started here. And I'm going to go File and New Project. And let me just drag this window down just a little bit here. We're going to do New Composition. And I want to make this to be about the length of my audio, and then we can shorten it too afterwards. And I'm going to probably have to split this up into a couple of different, let's do Command Z on that, a couple of different tutorials because there's a lot to cover and I don't want to have to create the whole thing here. So I'm going to bring this down to one here, and I think it's about 40 seconds. So hopefully this is correct. Okay. And then I'm going to use a white background for the moment, and we can always change that later, okay, if we need to, but I really don't think I need to do that. Anyway, let me continue on here. So you should create a folder, and this is my folder for this demo. This is my folder for my project. And one thing you want to do is create a name for your folder. You can name it Project 2 or name it the name of the fable that you're going to animate. And then you want to put in your sound, okay? And later, as you build your Illustrator file, you want to save your Illustrator file in here, okay? So everything's going to be located within this. And if you notice here, I've got a couple different Illustrator files, or actually there's 4 in all. And one here is the art, which is what I started with. This is the file I brought over because there's layers in here I didn't want to show up in After Effects. These two are because I had started the animation and then needed to add more layers, and they weren't showing up because Illustrator and After Effects does not sync that way. So I saved different Illustrator files and brought those in, and I'm going to show you how to do that in a different tutorial. Okay, so let me close this, and this is where I'm going to be saving everything because this is my demo, and I just copied over what I needed. All right. So anyway, let me get back over here. First thing you want to do is you want to go to File, Import, File, then Import, and then go look for File here. And there's obviously a keyboard shortcut, which is Command or Control-I. And look for your audio in your folder, and then you're going to place it as MP3, okay? And there it is, and I'm going to bring it down into here. And again, I'm going to show the waveform. And I'm hoping, so what I'm going to do is if you notice where my arrow is at, I click on that little arrow there. I click on the little arrow next to audio, and then I go down to waveform and show the waveform. And as I was saying before, if you zoom in, you will see things where she is talking or someone is talking. So let me play this for a second.
This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Kristen Luoma, greenkri.com. Aesop's Fable, The Cat and the Mice.
Okay, I'm going to stop it right there. And what I'm going to do is let me drag this over, and we're going to eliminate all that. It's not totally eliminating it, but what I'm doing is I'm covering that up. Then I'm going to drag this to the beginning here. Okay? And now let's play it again. And it should exclude all that stuff.
There was once a house.
Okay, so that's pretty simple to do. Okay? And you can always rewind this tutorial to see how I did that. But I don't want all that. I don't want that part of the recording in my animation. So that's why I took that out. Okay? So now, what we should do is save this. And I usually get to saving last, but if you save it, then it will continue to save for you as you are creating your project. So let's go Save As, and let me go to the right one. I'm going to the demo one. And I'm just going to call it Demo 2 or something because I've already got one in there. But as you can see, I just don't have, I want to spend less time on this tutorial. I did another tutorial and just flopped because the audio on the screen was not, you couldn't hear it. Okay, so once I do that, then we can start bringing in text, and we're going to make new text layers. So let me go over, in class I told you you could take your text and copy and paste it into a Word file, a Word document is. What I'm doing here is I just have on my computer, I have Chrome is my browser, and in it I have a web page where the story is at. And I'm just going to be copying and pasting from this, okay? So I'm going to select the first line of text she reads and do copy, all right? Then we're going to come over here, and we're going to go make sure we're in After Effects, and I'm going to go to Layer, New Text, and then do Command or Control-V and paste that in there, okay? And it's the color that was originally over here. I've begun to realize this. So if you pick your color before you paste your text, it will make it that color. If you need to change it afterwards, you can. And you can select it and then change it. I want to keep it about this setting here. So I'm using my HSBs, my huge saturation balance, and in order to get 60% gray, I take the hue down to 0, the saturation down to 0, and the balance is up at 60. Or you can play around and select in there. I'm doing that because I'm going to be having some animated things come in, some that are black and some I'm going to rely upon the white background I have. So now that I have this in here, we want to animate this, and if we look at the waveform, it ends about right here. Okay, so she's through talking about right in here. So I'm going to, first of all, let's zoom out our timeline there so we can get in here, and I'm going to drag this over here like this. And now let's play this and see if I'm correct here about this.
There was once a house that was overrun with mice.
Okay, very good. See, so now what we want to do is I want to animate this, and I want to make it appear. Now, there's other types of preset. You can use presets, and I'll use a preset right now just to make this go a little quicker here. So we go to Effects, and we can go to Text. Oops, that's not it. We want to go to Effects and Animation Presets. And up under Animation Presets is Text. We don't want to go, so we've got to go to Animation Presets first, and then we go to Text. Then we go and find we want to animate this in. And I'm going to do Fade Up Character, I believe. So I'll double-click that. We'll see what this looks like. We'll drag this up. Oh, one thing is it's installing it in the wrong place. So I undid that. I want to go to the beginning of my timeline there and then double-click that. Okay? Let's see what this looks like.
There was once a house that was overrun with mice.
Okay. Now, it doesn't sync up well because I got to play with the keyframes. So I'm going to hit the U key. I'm on that text layer. And you can see where these keyframes are at. And I'm going to drag this keyframe over here. Maybe drag this one over just a little bit here. And then let's play it again.
There was once a house that was overrun with mice.
Okay, so that works very well. See that? And so I'm going to go and make a new text layer. But before we do that, we might as well just copy. We'll go back over to our web page here and copy "a cat heard of this and said to herself," because I've done this enough times, so I know what I need. So we'll do that, and then we'll go back into After Effects, go to Layer. Oops, let me make sure we're over here on this layer. Then we'll go to Layer, New Text, and I'll drag it over a little bit here. So it's going to come in right there. And I'm going to, now, unfortunately, I can't do Command V again. So let's drag over here a little bit, and all right, that makes another text layer. So I'm going to undo this. All right, let's do this again. Easiest thing to do. Okay, if something goes wrong, you undo. All right, let's do new text layer again, and then just do Command V. Now, what I'm going to do is drag this over so it begins where the other one left off. Okay, and by looking at my waveform, we'll zoom in a little bit so we can see the waveform a lot better. There, you can begin to see where we need to be. So let's go back. Let's zoom out a little bit more because we got to get to the end of our composition here, or timeline that is. And let's drag this in here and let's zoom in again. And let's play this.
Mice. A cat heard of this and said to herself.
Okay. And we can drag that just a little bit farther over. So I can use that preset again. And let's do that. Effects and preset. Let's do fade up. Okay. And I'm not even going to play it this time. I'm going to go and hit the U key so we can see the keyframes. And bring that one keyframe over to almost the end where that text will end on that layer. Okay, so let's play this.
A cat heard of this and said to herself, "That's the place for me."
Okay, so I'm going to do the next line of text. So let me come over here, drag that in timeline indicator over there, go back to my web page, and I'm going to go, that's the place for me right here, and copy. Come back over to After Effects. Make sure we're on this layer right here to begin with, layer 1, and we're going to do new text layer, and then do Control or Command V to paste it, and then we're going to have it start right there. We're going to zoom out of our timeline so we can, we're going to scale that timeline down, what we're doing right there, and then bring that over, and then look at our waveform. If we can't see everything, bring this up like this, okay? So I'm clicking that so we can see that better now. And then I'm going to zoom in again on my timeline so I can see about where that ends there. Okay, there we go. All right, let's play this.
That's the place for me. And now she went.
So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to animate this, but this time I'm going to animate it myself by going to this layer. We're going to scrub down so we can see all the stuff underneath, and we're going to go to Animate here. And then we're going to choose Opacity. So what I'm going to do is make sure our timeline indicator is at the start here of that layer, and then we're going to scrub all the way down to 0, okay? And then I'm going to go to Range Selector. And we're not changing anything here. I'm going to click the stopwatch for start. So it will install a keyframe where the opacity is 0. And then I'm going to scroll over here, like that, and scrub it up. So now, let's play this.
That's the place for me. And now she went.
Okay. Me needs to come in a little sooner, so I'm going to scrub that over a little bit more. Or move that over, that keyframe, and let's play it again.
That's the place for me. And now she went.
And see, that works better. You know, you just got to play with these. You can look at the waveform to help you out, but then you're going to have to listen and move the keyframes, you know, accordingly, okay? So that is one way we're going to be doing this. Now, I am going to start bringing in some of the Illustrator art to animate, okay? So what we will do for that is we go to File, and we go to Import File. I could just do that command shortcut as many times as I've done that now, but I haven't yet. But let's go and look for cat and mice .ai. Oh, yeah, we're in the right place. Okay. And then let's click Open. Oh, don't open yet. Do Composition, Retain Layer Sizes. Okay. Now let's open. All right. So it's up there. Now let me scrub this up a little bit so that we can see this, or move that up, that is. I like to use the word scrub a lot now that we use it in After Effects. And let me just, we're going to go and we're going to place the cat-mice composition all the way down into here. Okay? It pops up, and we can double-click it. There it is. And what it does is we're looking at the layers, which are in this file. But what it does is also it jumps us over. Here in Comp 1 is our text that we're animating. And over here it says cat and mice, and we click on this. Now, they're all along the same timeline, but they're separated slightly. I say slightly because, we can't see them both at the same time, but this is better this way. Because if we put all the layers down in here, this thing's going to be immense, and it's going to be very hard to coordinate. We're going to have a lot of layers, but this way it splits it up. And one thing you should notice here is that when we drag over our timeline, our timeline indicator, okay, and we go back to where the Illustrator art is, those layers, the timeline indicator doesn't move. I mean, it stays the same. So that is how we're going to sync things together, okay? So first thing I'm going to do is, I've got all these layers. I'm going to take a lot of these layers right now, and we'll do all the way to cat head. And I'm going to drag this over so it doesn't start for a little while, and then we can move them over more as we need to. But anyway, that's going to help out. Now, what's happening here is why this is so dark is two reasons. One is I forgot to change the composition because I got this giant house here, and this house I want to make smaller, and then I'm going to enlarge it. And so I saved it in Illustrator as large as it needed to be at its largest, point, and then we can scale it down in After Effects. Let me go back over to Comp 1 for a second, and we want to make sure that this house starts to appear about right here, and will get larger somewhere, maybe somewhere around there where it says, okay. So let me go back to the Illustrator layers, and my timeline indicator should be where it was over there. Go to House, and we're going to hit the S key for Scale. And we're going to click the stopwatch. So that's going to be that size there, okay? Now, we're going to add another keyframe in just a second, but I'm going to come back over to where the text is at, and I'm going to scrub back my timeline indicator to see where House starts to appear and how big House is. And so about right there, I want the house to be scaled down, okay? So let me come back to my Illustrator layers, and now, you see, the timeline indicator moved. Now, let's go down and scrub down. Now, one of the reasons we're not seeing the house is because my background color for the composition is black. So we're going to need to change that. I'm going to on this because see, we've got basically two compositions in one movie here. So we're going to go over to composition settings for this, and see it's black. So we're going to change that to white, which is something I should have done to begin with, but this is how. Oh, click OK here. Sorry about that. And click OK there. All right, so let me go back to Comp 1, and we'll see. See, there's the house. Okay, we want to move it eventually. I just want to make sure the scale is correct, so we'll move the timeline over. The scale might be correct. I'm just playing here for a second. Okay, we want about right there. Whoa, go back here. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is, I got the scale down. I want to change its position, but I don't want to change it yet, so meaning that I want to go back to this, where it's at 100%. Make sure we're on this keyframe here. I'm going to go and do Shift key and position. And I am going to lock or click the stopwatch so it installs a keyframe. I'm going to move my timeline indicator over here. And then we're going to change the position of this, get the selection tool and move it over here a little bit. And then we're going to go back over to here to see if it's in the right location. And it's close. It's close. One thing is, let's start to bring in house. Okay. So one thing is, I want the house to be about that size before it gets larger there. So that's going to, because what I want to do is I want to make the house small, so it will just cover up the word house. So let's go back over to here, and let's drag over our scale. so it's smaller, and drag over our position and see if those sync up. Well, look here, not bad, not bad. It's not everything I wanted, but what we'll do is we'll go back to our Illustrator art again, and the position we want. Scrub it in just a little bit, and I'm just having to look, we're going to go up like that. Now let's go back here and see if that covers that up. Not bad, you know. Okay, let me go back to this again and select this keyframe and just make it. And this is the keyframe I selected is for scale. So let's bring the scale. Let's see about if it's 8% is okay. That's not bad. Okay, we'll go back over here, and then I'm going to go to position. Okay, click on the position word, and oops, didn't want to scrub it that way. Undo. We want to scrub it not that way. Undo. Scrub it just a little bit, maybe that way. Now let's see if that was enough. Yes, I can live with that. Okay. So what's going to happen is when it plays, it's going to get really big, really fast. Okay, and that's what I want. So let me bring this down a little bit so we can see things better. We're going to make our screen size a little smaller here. Okay, so let me go bring that back up here. So the house, I actually just wanted to make it appear right when it starts to show up there. So let me go back to our Illustrator art and scroll down to our house layer and drag it here. Maybe even inside there a little bit. Now let's see what that does. See, that's nice. I like that. And that's going to get really big and then overrun by mice. Okay, so once it gets really big here, like that, I want the mice to kind of start to appear maybe a little earlier. I'm bringing the mouse layer over. The other thing I want to do too is I want to bring these layers over so they don't last so long. We'll have to move them again in a moment. But what I'm going to do here is with the mice, let's make sure we can see it. Okay, so my mice, what I want to do is I want to change their position, and right where I'm at is where they're going to appear. So let me hit the P key. I'm on the mouse layer, and I'm going to just scrub. Nope, not that. I'm going to scrub it this way. Now I could also use my, and we'll put the stopwatch on. I could also use my selection tool and move that and hold down the shift key, but I'm going to do it that way for this time. All right, so when we get to over here, everything's going to eventually disappear here. We get that there. Okay, so when we see mice, we want those things to run across the screen. So that's why I have my timeline indicator. I moved it over. We're going to go back to our Illustrator art again, and this time we're going to move these mice. I'm going to use my my selection tool and just start moving them. Hold down the shift key. And now let's go back to the beginning and let's watch this for just a second.
There was once a house that was overrun with mice.
There we go. See, I like that. That's very good. I like that right there. All right, so let's scrub this over right when it gets to word A, or even before it, okay, for the next line of text. Let's go back here. Now, we've got a cat head. It's huge. And that cat head's going to get smaller. So let's figure out where it needs to be its largest. Okay, so let's play this.
A cat heard of this and said to herself, that's the place for me.
Okay, so let me go back here a little bit. See about right there. Let's go back to our Illustrator layers and under cat head. Okay, and one of the things that's going to occur here is we're going to have multiple things here. So I'm going to have the cat eyes show up. Well, they're going to have this big mouth show up. And this. Let's drag both these layers over here as close as they can be. All right. That's good enough. All right, so I am going to first select all three of these layers. The mice, the cat eye, okay, and then come down, hold down the shift key. I'm going to go all the way to the cat head, okay, and I'm going to hit the S. So actually, before we can hit the S, or the other thing we're going to do too is, and let's not undo what we just did. The new timeline change. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to parent this. So I'm going to select all three layers here and drag this parent pick whip from the cat eye down to the cat head. And as you can see here, this changes over here, telling you that these things are all connected now. So let's hit the scale button. I mean the stopwatch on the scale. And that will install a keyframe there. Now let's go back here and see where we want the cat head to appear here. All right, so the cat head's going to appear somewhere about right here. And so I am going to scrub it down small. Okay? Now you can't see it because we need to get rid of the house. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to scrub the house down. The end about right there. The other thing I could do too, instead of scrubbing the house down, is I'm going to just lower the opacity. So let me get to this. We're going to go down to house. We're going to hold down the shift key and hit T, and we're going to click the stopwatch and then drag it over just a little bit, and then go all the way down to 0. So now the cat head is going to scale down here. Now let's see here. Maybe we need to change that. Maybe we need to move that over a little bit more. There we go. I like that better. That looks better right there. Okay. So I need to go back up here to the cat head layer. I'm selecting all. I don't know if I need to really select all of those since they're parented, but I'm doing that just to make sure. And we're going to make this just a little smaller. Now something's happening here. Yeah, I didn't do this right, so I'm going to have to undo. Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. Okay. Sorry about that. So scales there, scales there. Now this gets complicated, but you just got to take your time and think about why we're seeing certain things. So I undid all the stuff with the house. So again, let's go down here. We still have this showing. So the opacity of the house, go back over to comp 1 here. Okay, we're in the right place here. I'm going to click that, and then move it just slightly over, and then drag to 0 here, so it'll fade. Okay. Now I still need to scale down the cat head. But if we turn off, and you know what, we could turn off all these layers too. That really helps. And turn off the eye on all those for a second, except for the mice. Just for a second here. Okay, there we go. So let's show the cat head, the mice large, and the cat eyes. Now, let's see if we can get this right. Back over here. Scrub this over until she says to herself. Well, we can even do it before that. Let's do it like that. So let's go back to cat and mice and do cat head. Do you. So our scale is that. I'm going to scrub this over here to where it's going to begin at. And then let's scrub it down. Scrub down the size here. There they go. They're all going together. That's what I want, okay? That's exactly what I want. You just got to play around with this sometimes. So the position's not correct, but I'm getting the scaling correct, and I'm trying to get this about the size of because there's a mouse under that eye. You can see the tail coming out. We want to get them to about the same size there, okay? That's good. Now, let's scrub our timeline over. And one thing I'm going to do is hold down the Shift key and do P, and that will add in position, and then we'll use the stopwatch. Good. Now let's scrub up back down, and we're going to move the cat. And it's going to move everything, okay? So we're going to move the cat, and we'll use, and since it's parented, now everything is moving. So we kind of want the cat to kind of pop up right there. And so what's going to happen is that. Okay, one thing I want to do too is I wanted it to be the mice. So about right here, I'm going to pull this over a little bit. So we'll see the mice getting larger, and then it's going to be an eye. Actually, we'll do it a little bit sooner because we're going to have a circle too that appears. So right here. Now, that means that I want the eyes or the mice to disappear right there. So let me go to the end of our timeline here and drag over the large mice. Click on that layer, just drag this over. So what's going to happen is this. Okay. Now let's go back over to where everything is located, our text and our sound. And just play this.
There was once a house that was overrun with mice. A cat heard of this and said to herself.
Okay, so as you saw the change, let's do it again.
Heard of this and said to herself, that's the place for me.
All right. Something's happening here. And I think what we want to do is maybe get rid of the mice sooner. And so the mice are going to just have to end right there, I hope. Maybe it could blink. I didn't think about having it blink before. But let's go back here and see what that looks like, even if it blinks, because that might be a new way to go. Oh, that's nice.
That's the place for me.
Okay, so that's the place for me. So about right here. before that word shows up, that right there, okay, I'll move our timeline over there. Now let's go back to our Illustrator art. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this circle appear and move it over. So it's going to appear right there. And then let's come over here and make that eye go away. So lots going to happen here within a few seconds, okay? And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start to move this over. This is our small house. Might as well turn that layer on. And let's see here, the cat head eventually is going to go away. Let me play this and just see what it looks like. We'll go back all the way over here and start from the beginning.
There was once a house that was overrun with mice. A cat heard of this and said to herself, "That's the place for me."
Okay, I still need that big cat head. So let's go back here. And that cat head we're going to need all the way until there at least. And let's go back to this. And let's bring the cat head over more. Okay. So let's see here. Let's play this one more time.
There was once a house that was overrun with mice. A cat heard of this and said to herself, "That's the place for me." And off she went and took up her quarters in...
Okay. Now, I might even want to keep that in a little bit longer. And you see all those little mice are still there, so I'm going to have to get rid of those too. So let me go back into our Illustrator art, and let's see where the mice are at. Yeah, the mice we're going to end sooner. Okay, and the house we're going to end sooner. But I'm going to drag this over a little bit, and we can always fade it out with opacity. And I'm going to go get another line of text here just a second here. Okay, just want to see here. Good. And see, I was going to do something with me here. We could do that. But next, I'm going to do is a new line of text. So let me go over to my web page, and we're going to add off. She went and took up her quarters in the house and caught the mice one by one and ate them. We're going to copy that. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is we're on our first comp here with all the text. So I'm going to go to Layer, New, Text, and then we're going to paste. Command V. Okay. Now we don't want the text to start until, and let's get down here for a moment, until about right here. Okay. And then let's play around with this text for a second. So one thing we're going to have to do is I'm going to see. She took quarters in the house, and then let's make 2 lines of text there. There we go. Okay. Now let's see where this should end. I'm going to play it. Oops.
And off she went and took up her quarters in the house and caught the mice one by one and ate them.
Okay, so she's going to eat those mice, and we're going to do quite a bit here. So let me come over here to our timeline, and that's where this text is going to end. We're going to have to scrub this down here, or scale down the timeline so I can see it for a second. And then we're going to drag this to end here. Okay, and then we're going to animate the text first. So first thing we're going to do is I am going to do there we go. Scrub that down. We're going to do animate, opacity, uh, take the opacity, scrub that all the way down. Go to the animator. Go to the range selector. Hit the start stopwatch. Come over to the end here and drag that all the way up. Okay. So let's see here. Let's play it and see what that sounds like.
And off she went and took up her quarters in the house and caught the mice one by one and ate them.
Okay, so let me come back here.
One by one and ate them. At last.
It's going to drag it a little bit more. There. And I want to play this one more time to see if
That's the place for me. And off she went and took up her quarters in the house and caught the mice one by one and ate them.
All right. Hold on here. So one thing we're going to have to do is
A cat heard of this and said to herself, that's the place for me. And off she went and took up her quarters in the house and caught the mice one by one and ate them.
all right. I think we've got to move that keyframe over more. Let's play it again.
And off she went and took up her quarters in the house and caught the mice one by one and ate them.
Okay. I moved the keyframe one more time.
And off she went and took up her quarters in the house and caught the mice one by one and ate them.
Good. So it's just a matter of moving those keyframes around most of the time. That will help out tremendously. Now, let me go. We're going to start animating again here with the shapes. And what we're going to do is we got this large cat head. We could probably keep it up a little bit longer. But we're going to probably fade it because what's going to happen is this house is going to eventually fade. Okay? And let me go back to our comp and see where we're at here. We're at the end of that. So let's go to the beginning of this animation here. Go back here. So this small house, let's do transparency. We'll click the stopwatch and move it around, move it just a little bit, and let's start to fade it out. Now we might move that keyframe a little bit. Let's see what this looks like over here.
And off she went and took up her quarters in the house and caught the mice one by one.
Okay, that doesn't look too bad. Okay, I kind of like that. We're going to drag this over just a little bit more. Let's go down to the small. So we got the small house here. The cat head. I think we're going to kind of keep it here. But I want to fade it too. I think we'll find out in just a moment. Okay, because the next thing that occurs are these large mice, and we need to see those. Let's go back over to our comp here, where she starts talking about. Yeah, off she went to the house. Okay, I think the house is going away too soon. So let me go back here, and the house we're going to keep it like that for the moment. Okay, for the large mice, they're going to come in right there. So let's drag that over. It'll subtly appear there. I'm turning on the eye for the cat paw layer. Drag that over here. So let's see what things look like. And it's going to be a lot happening here. So let's see.
Up reporters in the house and caught the mice one by one and ate them.
Okay, let's go back here. So where she
And caught the mice one by one and ate.
So she caught the mice. I think after the end of one here is when we're going to see, or maybe right there, that the reason why I want that timeline indicator there is because the cat paw we're going to rotate. And then we're going to illustrate where the mice are coming in at too and make them move. But first, let's do this. Let's get both of these layers, select them both, hit the P key, and click the stopwatch so we get the position there. Okay, now what I'm going to do is, and I'm dragging this down so we can see this. Oh, just scroll down, not scrub. I keep using the word scrub. Sorry about that. So what I want to do is, I'm going to come over to here. So that's a position. We want to do rotation on the cat paw. So let's deselect and just click up here somewhere, or click over here somewhere. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to go to the cat paw, and I'm going to click R, or Shift R. Okay, and I am going to click the stopwatch. And then I'm going to come back here, and then I'm going to rotate it. Now I'm going to start to rotate, but there's going to be a problem. Yeah, there we go. And that is, we need to move this anchor point where it's being rotated from. So let's go from pan behind, move this all the way over to here. Okay, oops. Okay. Now let's rotate it. I'm on the wrong thing there. Okay, let's go to rotation and move the pan behind. I don't know if it's going to make a difference here. Seems like it switches here. Okay. There we go. Still doing the same thing, but let's go down to rotate and rotate this thing now. So now this thing's going to come up here, so it's going to... Whoa! What's wrong? Okay, undo. You know what I think the problem is that I don't need the position keyframe. Let me go back over to here. Whoa. Okay. I'm going to get rid of the position keyframe there on that. Just do R. Okay. So we do U. We'll just, there we go. Now we just see the rotation. So I hit the U key twice, so that disappeared, and then we see rotation when I hit the second time. Now what I want to do is I want to set this. So we're going to take our pan behind tool, come all the way over to here, and then scrub this over a little bit here, and rotate this. It's not seen because it's not visible yet. For the cat paw, yeah, there it is. All right, so we're going to rotate this cat paw up, and it's going to come down. So let's just play this. Good. Okay. Now, I'm going to make the mice move. The mice are going to appear. The position of the mice. I'm just having to make that layer appear just a little sooner. So the position of the mice, I'm going to move them because their position's already locked where that paw is going to be at. So I need to just sort of go and play with, Let's see, I think it's this one right here. Nope, wrong. Okay, let's go this way. Yeah, there we go. I can also move this with my selection tool. I'm going to do it like this. So what's happening is see, a lot is happening with this, just fractions of a second. I like that. That looks good. I'm going to go back down to here. Now let's go back to our comp and see what text is appearing. Okay, and off she went and took up quarters at the house. I still want the house to be visible. So I'm going to bring its visibility over here. Okay, and let's see here. We got the cat head disappearing. We keep that over there. Now let's go back to our first comp here. Just play and see.
The place for me. And off she went and took up her quarters in the house and caught the mice one by one and ate them.
Okay, something's wrong there. Let me go back here.
And caught the mice. She went and took up her quarters in the house and
I think the house is appearing too soon.
that's the place for me. And off she
So for me, we don't want the house there yet. I'm going to scrub it just a little bit here. Go back here. Find that small house. Drag it here. Now let's see what happens. Try this again.
and off she went and took up her quarters in the house and caught the mice one by one.
Okay. I'm going to just keep playing with this. So what I'm going to do is go back over here. And I'm going to go to opacity. I think what I might do is add another keyframe at this beginning here and scrub it down so the house will slowly appear there. Let's go back. You just got to keep playing around back and forth, as you can see.
And off she went and took up her quarters in the house and caught the mice one by
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. House is disappearing a little too quickly there. So I want to make the house stay there for a second. So let's go back to our house, small house, and we're going to just keep it here like that. So just a little bit more. Okay, now let's go down here where the cat head is going to disappear. And what I might do is just play with, on the cat head layer, hit Shift T, and we're going to scrub the opacity down a little bit. I might as well scrub it all the way down and just move the in and scrub it down to 0. Move the keyframe over a little bit. Then move over here just a little bit and scrub the opacity back up. Okay. Well, that's kind of nice. I like that. But let's play it over here. Okay. So let's go back over here.
that's the place for me. And off she went and took up her quarters in the house and caught the mice one by one and ate them.
Okay.
At last,
So something else is going to happen here too. It's going to be a lot. So she catches them one by one. And then what I want to happen here is, let's go over here. And at this point, a lot of things are going to disappear. The house is about to disappear, as you can see there. And make sure that that's down to 0. Let's make sure the opacity down for the house is down to 0. So the large mice, they're just going to go away. I think the best thing for me to do for that is, I'm on the large mouse layer. We're going to drag over so the layer will end right there. And we're going to do the same thing with the cat paw. Okay. Now, this should have opacity. This is just a circle. It's a white circle, so we're not going to see it. So let me scroll up here. And then we're going to do the cat head popping up. This cat head's going to pop up, and it's going to end somewhere over here. But I got the cat mouth that I want to show, so let's show the cat mouth. We got the tail, and then we got the eye. So it's a lot that's going to pop up right there. These other layers, they're not visible yet. So what I might do is just, let's go up here. Scrub this up. Scroll that up. Get these layers, and just, I selected all of them. I'm going to move them over to here for the moment. All right. Okay, now, go back down here. We'll select off of them. Or actually, Shift Command A should do that. Yeah, okay. That's the same keyboard shortcut as Illustrator. Shift Command A. So, what is going to happen is, that cat head is going to appear about right there. That over, that over. With the mouse heads over. So as it does that, this cat head's going to appear. Let's turn on the eyes. Where are the eyes at? Eyes are here. Oh, the eyes need to come over. Sorry about that. All right, so let's see what happens here. So that's going to happen. Cool. Now let's go back to our first comp here. Okay. And let's just play this again.
Place for me. And off she went and took up her quarters in the house and caught the mice one by one and ate them.
Okay. All right. So a couple things are going to occur is we're going to make the text darker, but I want to animate this tail to make it look like she's eating them.
By one and ate them. At last.
Go back here.
And caught the mice one by one and ate them.
Okay. So let's go back here. We got the mouse tail. And we're going to rotate that mouse tail. So hit the R key on that layer. We're going to need to rotate it from where the mouth is at. So let's get the pan behind. We're on it. Tool. We'll move that up. We will lock or turn on the stopwatch to make a keyframe there. That's a good way to lock that position. We're going to come all the way over here and click this diamond so it'll install another keyframe there. Let's enlarge because we've got so much going on here. There we go. And somewhere in between here, there's going to be rotation going on. Okay. And so let's see what that does. See that? It rotates. All right, let's go back over to Comp 1. See, there's a lot that happens in this little animation.
And caught the mice one by one and ate them.
Okay. One thing that I want to occur is about right here. I want the text to change color. So, on the text here, on this text layer, I want to install a new animator. We've got one animator that's the appear. Let's go up here. I made this mistake yesterday, and that is I was on this animator here, and I went and put a new one in there, but it wasn't working because it didn't install a second animator. It just included this effect down below here. So what I'm going to do is click off of that. Let's just click on the title there. Now we'll go to animate, and what I'm going to do is change our fill color. All right, so our fill color is red for the moment, but that's only because of how it appears here. And I'm going to actually go and change it to a gray. So remember, we want to change it to about 60. I think we can just move it that way and move it all. Oh. Yeah, we want to make this 60. Whoops, 67, 54. Let's type in 60. Click OK. All right. So it's going to, and let's click the stopwatch. So our text is going to be that color, but then when all this stuff is appearing, and maybe before that, this color is going to become different. So let's click on this again and change it to black. And it puts in another keyframe. So now let's see how this is doing. See that? All right, let's play this.
Cat heard of this and said to herself, "That's the place for me." And off she went and took up her quarters in the house and caught the mice one by one and ate them.
Okay. So the cat head appears so quickly there, which is fine, but let's fade it in. Let's go back over here. We'll go all the way back over here to the cat head, which hasn't appeared yet, but I can bring it over here so it will appear. And I'm not even dealing with the mouth or anything. I just want the cat head to appear there. And let's click the T key. And we want that. Let's see here. I'm looking at the cat paw. And the cat paw disappears here. All right. I can change this afterwards if it doesn't work out. So let's hit the stopwatch. So it installs that keyframe. We'll come over to the beginning here where the cat head comes in, and we'll just scrub that all the way down. So let's see here. Cool. Okay, I like that. So let's go back here. We'll play this, and then.
And caught the mice one by one and ate them.
All right. So let's go back to the beginning. We'll play it one more time.
There was once a house that was overrun with mice. A cat heard of this and said to herself, "That's the place for me." And off she went and took up her quarters in the house and caught the mice one by one and ate them.
Okay, I can cope with that. That looks good. So this shows you quite a bit of what you can do with this, and I'm going to end this tutorial because I've covered how to animate text, how to animate shapes together, and how to coordinate it with the audio. I'm going to do another tutorial that covers more things. Okay.